We take a look now at KNT Netball, where the association has just finished round 14, only 2 weeks to go. And I've got Sally Bywater on the line, and she's getting excited for finals, as we all are. Welcome, Sally.
Well, thank you very much. It's great to be back again.
Yes, it's great to have you here. And the season, well, it's been getting gradually more intense for about 8 weeks now. There's been close games. There's been very few big margins, but there's been a lot of upsets and sort of draws and one-goal games. And, well, this week was really no different. And we kicked off with a one-goal game between Keith and Naracoorte, where Keith were on the winning end. They kept themselves on top of the table only just, and they knocked Naracoorte out of finals contention officially.
Yeah, basically, I think you're right there. Yeah, great game here down at Naracoorte between these two sides, and it was a 30-year reunion for Naracoorte that won 4 senior premierships 30 years ago. So they had a lot of support there on the sidelines, and they witnessed a fantastic game here. So Naracoorte came out of the blocks by, and they were 2 goals up at quarter time. So that was fantastic to see. And Keith turned the tables in the second quarter with some lovely shooting from their goalies, and they were 1 goal up at half time. Then very even second half. Keith took the third quarter by 4 and Naracoorte the last quarter by 4. So nothing in it between these two sides, which is fantastic to see at this time of the year. And Keith, still sitting on top of the ladder, nice and pretty.
So we're putting a line through Naracoorte, and, well, it's a bit of a unfortunate season for them because they had some really good wins, showed some really good signs, but in the end, they just had a few games like this one where they couldn't quite get over the line against some of the top 3 or 4 teams, and it's going to cost them a spot in finals. But across all the netball leagues we cover in South Australia, I must say they'll probably be one of the strongest teams to be sitting out of finals.
Yeah, I think you're definitely right there. They were just on that wrong side of a few close games earlier on in the season. And, to really take it up to the top side was fantastic to see. But, I don't think they'll make finals this year, but it would be fantastic to see them again next year, and they'll finish off this season strong.
No doubt about that. And like I said, for Keith, they really needed that win because it has kept them on top of the ladder at 10-2. In our next game, it was Penola getting a really big win, surprisingly big win with this 25-goal margin over Sally Bywater, 75-50. So they are well and truly in touch with top spot, just half a game behind Keith.
Yeah, absolutely. Penola had just a fantastic game here, and they were 41 goals to 22 up at half time. So just phenomenal effort to shoot 40 goals in a half and keep your opposition to 20. So a great effort here by Penola. I know Kirby made a lot of changes trying to find that right combination and people playing out of position, but fantastic game here by Penola and sitting second, and they look really scary coming into finals. So I think they're playing some great netball.
So Kirby sitting in 5th, and they'll certainly be grateful for Keith just getting that narrow win over Naracoorte, because otherwise Naracoorte would have been right on their heels pushing for that last final spot, but it looks like Kirby will be safe there nevertheless. And we had another very close game in our next one. Bordertown got their first win in a little while. They knocked off Kingston 46-43, and they've relegated Kingston back to the bottom of the ladder.
Yeah, I think this is probably the first time Bordertown's been not on the bottom of the ladder. So a fantastic game here at Bordertown between these two sides. And Kingston really came out firing in this game, being 7 up at quarter time. So they really had a great first quarter and 8 goals up at half time. And then Bordertown regrouped, came back and won the second half to get that win by 3. And it was a great last quarter, 15-7. So they finished off really strong and played some great netball. And for both teams, this was just great netball over the court. So they may be in positions 8th and 9th, but a great game between these two clubs.
Yeah, it sounds like it was a cracker, and once again, it goes to show the strength of this competition, that the bottom 2 teams are jostling it out like that, able to both get a couple of wins on the board for the season, and both have a couple of honourable losses as well. They've both got a pretty strong percentage. Kingston with the worst percentage in the league, and it's still over 75. So certainly one of the stronger comps going around with those 2 teams down the bottom. And in our last game for the round, Lucindale knocked off Mundalla, and I think we joked last week that Mundalla were mathematically a chance for finals still, but certainly not after this loss, 53-36 at Lucindale.
Yeah, great game here by Lucindale. Yeah, Mundalla probably still had that slither of hope last week before this game with the results having to go their way, but obviously now we will strike them out in finals contention. But Lucindale finished this season off really strong, and it just great to see them 53-36, a great win here and just consistent all over the court. I'm for the whole game, so a great four-quarter effort by Lucendale and probably really cementing that spot in the top 5, and they can do some damage, I think, come finals time.
And Border Districts were on the bye in the round 14 action. And we'll look ahead to round 15, the second to last round of the season. So these games for ladder positioning are extremely important now. And the first one should be a cracker. Very, very important game. Keith are hosting Kybe Bolite. So Keith really need the win to stay on top. And Kybe Bolite, well, they need to respond after that 25-goal loss last week.
Yeah, and I think they will. I think they'll come back out and play a different style of netball this week. I think they've regrouped and hopefully will fight back. When they met back in round 6, Keith just got the win here by 8 goals. So I think it'll be another close game. I'm actually thinking Keith may win because they're going to play some strong netball coming into finals. But it'll be a great game. I just hopefully Kybe have regrouped and we'll see a different side out in the courts this week.
So we'll see if Kybe can hang with the top team in that one. Mundalla taking on Naracoorte in our next game. So a bit of a, consolation prize. We'll see if Naracoorte can hold on to 6th spot on the ladder. But they haven't had too much trouble with the teams below them. It's been the teams above them that has troubled them, which, it sounds obvious when you say it out loud, but that's the way it's been for Naracoorte.
It really has, and I think this will be a great game. They're 6th and 7th. They won't be playing finals this year, but they'll be wanting to finish off 2023 with some wins. So when they met in round 6, Naracoorte got the win by 2. I think Mundalla might reverse that and get a win here against the Demons at home, but I think it'll be a great game between these two clubs. Although injuries have been depleting them for the season between these two, so they haven't been at full strength for a couple of weeks, but it'll be a great game between here to finish their seasons off strongly.
And Mundalla out of the finals race, but a win here, and they could theoretically still finish above Naracoorte on the ladder. So they've still got that to play for. There's certainly a lot of pride still involved. Border Districts taking on Lucendale in our next game. 3rd versus 4th on the ladder, 8 wins apiece. This one is shaping up as potentially the game of the round.
Yeah, I think I've got this one penciled in as my game of the round. I think it'll be a fantastic game. These two will be playing finals netball, and there'll be great depth in both these clubs. So when they met in round 6, Boys got the win by 10, but since then Lucendale have got some players back and they're at full strength. And so both teams at full strength will be a fantastic game. I think Lucendale might get the win here and really be aiming to get that 3rd spot in the double chance come finals. But Boys are really put up to them because we know how consistently they've been playing this season.
And in our last game of the round, Penola taking on Bordertown. And I think this is Bordertown's last game of the season. I'm pretty sure they've got the bye in round 16. So both coming off a win, but you'd expect Penola will win this one with a pretty decent margin.
I think so. I think Penola will have the edge in this game. And Bordertown, just to play that last season, the last game for the season, and they want to go out with some pride. Hopefully they'll get a bit closer than the last time they played, which was 24 goals. But I think it'll be a long trip down to Penola and let girls have some fun on the way home.
All right, and Kingston on the bye, of course, this week. And before we wrap up, how are all the teams looking around the association in terms of numbers? I know there's been a lot of girls away travelling, and some of the results we've seen maybe aren't quite 100% representative of how good or how bad the teams actually are. So are the teams pretty much all back to full strength now as we get into the last 2 rounds before finals?
I think they are. I know there has been some niggling injuries at a few clubs, but I'm thinking they're all back now. And the names I'm seeing popping up are going to be there come finals. And we missed a few of them during the season. So I think full strength, and it was great to see with 2 games to go before finals. So, some great games. And I think the results we see now will be what we're expecting.
Great news. We definitely want to see all the teams at full strength in these final 2 rounds, and we definitely want to see them at full strength as we get into the finals. Thanks for stopping by, Sally. Been good to hear all those updates, and looking forward to seeing how the results go this weekend. Like I said, the competition is seriously heating up as we get into these last couple of rounds. Enjoy the games this weekend, and we'll catch up with you next week.
Sounds great. Thank you very much.